that Iran shut down 2 U.S. planes is fucking insane. This is yeah, dude, this is really bad for the Trump admin.
News has learned that one American pilot was rescued by the U.S. military after an F-15 U.S. fighter jet was shot down over Iran. And that pilot who was rescued is still, in fact, alive. That is according to a U.S. official. Another American pilot is still, though, unaccounted for. I want to bring in our senior national security correspondent, Courtney Q, who's standing by for us. Courtney, this is...
Yeah, so there's one in Iran still. There's a U.S. service member in Iran. I think this could turn the American public generally against the Iran war and completely, like, this completely fucks the Republicans' chances at midterms, I think. Like, genuinely. I think it's over for Republicans coming with this. This is so big! We have a service member that is going to be held in captive by Iran. That service member is not getting out of Iran either without being captured by the Tehran or dead. Those are the only 2 ways this service member is getting out of Iran.
This is a fast-moving story here. What are we learning?
Yeah, so at this point, it's literally developing minute by minute. According to a U.S. official, it does appear that this F-15E, it's often known as a Strike Eagle, that it was shot down by Iran. It's deep inside of Iranian territory. The 2 pilots are believed to have ejected from that aircraft. And as you mentioned, we now know, according to a U.S. official, that at least one of those individuals has been recovered alive. We don't know anything else about that person's condition. Search and rescue efforts remain underway right now. Now, what's standard in a case like this, the U.S. has gone to war in Iran. In advance of a big military action like this, the U.S. would generally put forward in the region something known as a personnel recovery team. In this case, most likely, just given the operational tempo and the size of this war, they would have put multiple personnel recovery teams. And they are on a constant standby while the U.S. is flying any kind of combat missions like this, so that if there is something that happens where U.S. Service members go down essentially behind enemy lines, they can respond immediately to go in and try to find those individuals. Now, this is the first time that we know about that a manned aircraft has gone down inside Iran as part of,
I just don't think it's going to happen,
of this war. And it's significant, Yasmin. And that is because it dispels this idea that the U.S. has complete and total autonomy or control over the airspace over Iran right now. While they may have largely control over it, that doesn't mean that it is not a dangerous mission for U.S. men and women who are flying over there. There are hundreds of targets that they are still striking every single day. That is manned and unmanned. But we know that in recent days, the U.S. has really upped the number of bomber runs. So obviously manned bomber fighters, aircraft that have been flying over Iran. It still remains an extremely dangerous mission for them, Yaz.
Yeah, it's a good point. We have heard repeatedly from Secretary of Defense Hegseth, along with the president as well, that the U.S. has complete and total control over the airspace within Iran. And now seeing the downing of this F-15 fighter jet certainly speaks to a different perspective as to this ongoing war. Court, do we have any reporting as to whether or not this individual, this fighter pilot, is actually still inside Iran and safe, or has he left Iran?
We don't. That's one of the questions.
Yeah, he's still in Iran.
Welcome to the Press Now. I'm Kristen Welker.
There's no reason why they would release this if, like, this is such a loss for the Trump admin.
Washington, and we are following major breaking news in the war with Iran and claiming U.S. dominance over Iranian airspace. Here's just some of what he said, including during his primetime address to the nation just 2 days ago.
Look, in a certain sense, we've already won because we've knocked out their Navy, we've knocked out their Air Force, and we knocked out all of their communications, their telecommunications, and very importantly, we knocked out their anti-aircraft apparatus.
We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before. They have no anti-aircraft equipment.
Trump does not give a fuck about the military members. Oh, gosh, for the world President Donald J. Trump. I know Korea and Japan, or maybe it's Japan and China. They're working with each other to try and get something worked out with Iran. Trump is a bum, that's why that's true. To get Strait of Hormuz information open. This is bad. This is like really, really bad for the Trump admin.
Dozens of countries sought ways to restart vital energy shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's foreign minister condemned the attack as sharply higher and deepening anxiety across global markets.
Wait. We have to do some math. 883 rupees. Hold on. 883.49 rupees to USD. 953 US dollars. 2.74 liters. Liter? Litres? Is that how you just spell liters? Okay, 0.723. Hold on, I need to get fucking piece of scratch paper, but I don't got a pen. I guess we can do this on Paint. But yeah, so that's $9. Whoa. That's $9 for less than a gallon.
In a social
I don't even need to get it. It just clicked in my brain. That's $9 for less than a gallon.
media post on Thursday, Trump warned Tehran to make a deal before it is too late and shared what he claimed vows of retaliation from Tehran to the North Iranian infrastructure with traders priced in prolonged supply disruption.
Yeah, 2 warplanes were downed over Iran. The U.S. official said on Friday 2 pilots rescued. Oh, we're both rescued and a third missing and being hunted by. Okay, so there's 3 pilots. The first plane, 2-seat U.S. F-15E, was shot down by Iranian fire. Americans are largely pessimistic. Oh, wow. Do you think the U.S. military action will have an impact on your personal financial? Mostly negative. Concerned. Wow, this is way different from a month ago. The U.S. and Israel opened the campaign. Yep, Trump strikes bridges, power plants, which is a war crime. Oh, man, we are running the military like shit right now. We can't do anything. And then Pete Hegseth fired top generals. Here's the Axios article. George and Hode grow list of generals, flag officers booted by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. These abrupt exits reshape the Joint Chiefs of Staff intel collecting agency and combat commands. One of the officials described firing during a war as insane. It is. It is absolutely insane. It is very uncommon. Hode was late last year, put in charge of Transformation and Training Command, T2COM. Meant to accelerate this services tech and development and deployment. The organization was birthed from the Army Transformation Initiative, which George helped lead. This doesn't feel a very strong self-assured decision. One of the officials said of Hegseth's move. Army 82nd Airborne are bound for the Middle East. Service is responsible for integrated air and missile defenses. Here is a 4-star general who is actively working to get equipment and people into theater to protect U.S. forces, and you fire him in the middle of war? U.S. official told Axios. We can't do anything right, man. And 365 service members have now been wounded in Iran. U.S. service members have been, and I don't like the military, but this is like, that's big, man, dude. That's huge news. Seth fires generals. I wonder if, yeah, here's this. Well, I'll get that pulled up in here in just a second, but Neve has questioned whether the army is moving too fast and too far, according to one of the U.S. officials, because it causes such a disruption to logistics, right? You have these people with their plans and communication set up. They have trusted intel people that they're talking with and communicating, and then you have to recertify this information. You have to go back and make sure, oh, is this still a plan? Are we still going to be doing this? What's the next move? Who's making the next decision? Like, this admin is run by fucking idiots,
Courtney,
dude.
This Army, can we call Army Chief of Staff? It is a shakeup. He did get fired based on what you're reporting is what's going on.
Yeah, it's absolutely a shakeup. So he is the senior-most 4-star general in charge of the U.S. Army, the Army Chief of Staff. He's been in the job since September of 2023. He's supposed to be there for a 4-year gig. But the reality is there have been rumors that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was going to fire him for some time.
Predating the war?
Precisely, predating the war. And basically this is, Secretary Hegseth is going after people and has been since he was nominated or since he was confirmed into this job and sworn in. He goes after people who have any kind of ties to DEI, have any ties to the retired General Mark Milley, and
we're crippling our U.S. military because of DEI. We're crippling the U.S. military to stop DEI. Holy shit, this nation is such a fucking joke.
And the previous administration, and that's where Randy George fell in here, the Army general. He worked directly as the senior military aide for the former Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin. So the reality is he has been in the crosshairs with Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, for some time. But I cannot stress to you enough the idea that the Secretary of Defense just fired the head of the Army, the four-star general in charge of the United States Army while the U.S. is at war, is for nothing to do with the war, by the way, is so beyond unorthodox.
So we are just getting in a statement from the Pentagon. I'm going to show you off of my computer, too, because it's literally just coming in as you're
Literally. Firing the guy in charge of the Army.
speaking here, but the general confirming that he will be, they say, retiring from his position here, effective immediately. We've got the statement up on screen saying that the Department of War, that's what they call it, is grateful for General George's decades of service to our nation. We wish him well in his retirement. To your point, Courtney, they're framing it as a retirement. It's in the middle of this war against Iran. Does this operationally, do we know even what this operationally means for the actual strikes, attacks, targets that they're trying to hit?
Probably nothing. I mean, I don't think this will have a direct impact on what we're seeing the U.S. do in Iran right now, or even the strategy going forward, or anything like that.
This is gonna crush morale. Isn't Hegseth's resume just being a fucking Fox News host? Pretty much.
But the reason that something like this normally would not happen is because it just conveys to an enemy like Iran a sense of chaos, a sense of uncertainty, or potentially even weakness. It is just simply not done. And again, if in fact something like this does happen when you're in the middle of a conflict, it would generally be because there is some specific tie to the conflict. The individual was seen as having done something wrong or immoral or whatever it is. In this case, the officials who we're speaking to said it is because of his ties to the former Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin.
And the officials you're speaking with also say it's not a retirement, right?
Well, he has to retire because he's a four-star general. So if he doesn't have another job to go to, which he doesn't, he's forced to retire.
Got it. Okay. Courtney Kuby, great reporting from you and the team.
Oh, man. I think we're going to lose the Iran war, guys. I think this is going to go on for another 4 months, and we're going to lose. And things are going to get so much worse. Oh, my God. How badly do you think Israel wants to just nuke Iran? I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I'm a little shocked how badly it's going. I couldn't have imagined it going this poorly. I'm not gonna lie. This poorly is pretty rough. This is another level of like incompetency from the Trump admin that I don't think we've seen before. Because why would you do this? If I was Iran, I'd be like, oh, sweet, dude. Okay, the level of cartoon hijinks going on is kind of crazy, right? Like, even this, man, is like on another fucking level of stupidity. I have to like put this in at the end of the video, but holy shit, or the segment, but Jesus, man. What the fuck? 1.5 trillion Trump military budget. Holy shit. What the fuck? This is beyond stupid. Donald Trump has proposed boosting defense spending to 1.5 trillion in his 2027 budget released Friday. The largest such request in decades, reflecting his emphasis on U.S. military investments over domestic programs. A sizable increase for the Pentagon, some 44%, have been telegraphed by a Republican president even before the U.S. war against Iran. President's plan would also reduce spending on non-defense programs by 10%. Donald Trump promised to reinvest in America's national security infrastructure, make our nation safe in a dangerous world, wrote Budget Director Russell Vought. Oh, we're fighting wars we can't take care of we can't take care of daycare, Trump said in private White House event. Oh my God. We can't take care of daycare, people. We can't take care of daycares. It's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. You absolutely can. Jesus, man. International Space Station organizations. What's up, Kat? Affordable housing is just fully eliminated. I mean, it's 10% of all of these, but then fully eliminating some grants to reduce diesel pollution, air pollution monitoring, jobs program for low-income seniors, jobs training for at-risk youth, community development for block local grants community development block grants for local neighborhoods, local anti-poverty programs, home energy efficiency, clean energy programs, vocational training and adult education, support for minority-owned businesses. Wow. They really don't want to win. I know I was saying that earlier, but they really don't want to win any of the midterm elections. They just want to lose everything today. Not to, well, in general, but like, wow, this is like so stupid.